Oh, I am alive. I am alive. I am just, excited right now. So I want to say welcome to Free Talk Friday. Well, hello, hello, hello. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm always happy about Friday. It is truly is a thank goodness it's Friday. But for some people, Fridays are the beginning of their week. Fridays, although it's a Friday, the end of the week from my professional job, which is nursing. I'm a nurse every day. So I continue on in my work affairs, whether it's at my job or in the community, at home, and elsewhere, ministry. So I want to welcome you to Free Talk Friday today. I don't have my co-host with me. I miss her, and that's Kamiko. So just keep her in your prayers. She's out with family and her parents and handling some business and taking care of some things. So just keep her lifted. So I want to say, go ahead and share, share, share. Let others know, join in with us as we're talking and get us in this hype up for what we're going to discuss. And I want to hear your story. I want to hear your comments like you always do. I'm looking forward to, have some discussion, um, interaction with our messages and things like that. So, Free Talk Friday, today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of the wages increase. So, there's like the stimulus check, they're trying to work on the bill, they're trying to pass the bill for the increase of the stimulus, for the increase of wages, which is pros and cons for companies and employees and people in general, because you have the common denominator is there are people that run companies. Although some people have their dog as CEOs for certain things, but we're talking about the human race as employees and as business owners. So today, we want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear what you have to say about that, but I'm going to share a little bit on what the current events are. And again, always remember you can go to the White House. There is an area that you can follow up with the White House to get information, to get accuracy. And, I want you to know where your resources are coming from. Whitehouse.gov is typically one of the best places that you can get the information that will help you to make decision or get an understanding of what I'm talking about. So I have some viewers with me, and hello, hello, hello from Happy Harvest, Free Talk Friday. Hello, I'm just greeting everyone. Hello to everyone. Um, yes, so like I said, it is extremely important for you to have your backup resources. And in the midst of what we're talking about, our pros, our cons, you want to be prepared. I know this month has just extremely been about preparation. It's about love, and all this includes the love walk. So because you love your loved ones, you want to make sure that they're properly treated fairly. um, Good morning, Patrice. Good morning. You know, because you have information, you always want to gain knowledge, information that will help you to be successful. And this is what Free Talk Friday is about, is just gaining information. If you know it already, share it. If you don't, praise the Lord, thank you, Jesus, and use it for the good of those who you are around. Share it with them, and that help empowers people to know and to do. So, one thing that and those who are joining, we're talking about the pros and the cons of the minimum wage and the stimulus bill that is in place in working. So I rather not go into depth about politics. And I know I get good information also from other sources, but I try to just stay very surface in the information I provide. And then I refer you back to, like I said, you want to go deeper and get more on what we're talking about, just for your knowledge base, to increase your knowledge base, is go to the whitehouse.gov, and that can help you a little bit more. So there's a scripture. I don't know if you know it. Patrice, you're going to be my help today. I was saying earlier, my host, she's out with some urgencies with her family. So I just want you guys to lift her up. But there's a scripture I know it's in Isaiah, and I love the scripture, but I can't pinpoint the exact verse. And like I always say, read your Bible so you can go and double check. But there's a scripture that says, iron sharpens iron. And I think about the iron, when you have a knife, and that knife is so dull, it can't cut nothing. But when it does penetrate, when you are trying to use a dull knife to cut, and then when you finally get it to cut, it tears things up and it destroys what you really want to cut because it's not sharpened enough, right? So iron sharpens iron in the spiritual sense, which result in the natural sense, is information that is passed on, that you can increase in knowledge. So each one help one. So you help me, I help you. The knowledge I gain, I pass on to you. The knowledge you gain, you pass on, and so forth and so forth. And that's the iron sharpening iron. Because when you're able to help sharpen someone else's skills, their potential, help them to propel them to that place of success, then you're sharpening. And that's iron sharpens iron. So that's what, now you want to make sure you're using the proper tool to help sharpen. So with that being said, the information that's being provided, I try to be as accurate as I can. And the information I get, or the resources I get, I try to have proper factual information. But like I always say, you do your homework and you can divert or go revert back to what you need to gain necessary updates on what we're discussing. So today we're talking about the pros and cons of the stimulus check that they're working on the bill, to include the pros and to include the minimum wage. The Democrats want $15 increase for the minimum wage. The Republicans want $10 increase for the minimum wage. So my question was, okay, why these two have a different number? So why these two have a different number? Because you would think when you hear the increase for the minimum wage, it would be like, woo, woot woot, we're ready, we're moving on up, you're moving to a higher place. Yes, that's important. But in actuality, and then when you think about, because both team wants an increase, and it's long overdue, because since I was a teenager, I've been hearing minimum wage going to be going up more than 7.25. Some states is 7.45 or 55. Some states is $9. Some states is $8, and it's not consistent across the United States. So there's different wages all over, but they're trying to put in place a minimum wage, that will be substantial for the parties. And I think they may come and meet between. I don't know how they're going to work that out, because one want 15, one want 10. And I don't know if they're going to be able to talk and say, okay, let's meet in between, and there'll be like a $12 or something. But with that being said, the minimum wage, you want to think about preparation, because whether we like it or not, something is going to increase. Whether it's a preparation for you as a business owner, preparation for you as an individual. So there is a plus on both ends. But like I mentioned, on the humanistic side, we all will be affected one way or the other, whether it's the good or the bad. But anything that happens to you, whether it's your business or your life, I want you to think of it on a positive level because it happened, right? So, how do you maneuver through the changes? How do you prepare yourself to get ready for when the change, when the newscaster come out or the meteorologist says it's going to rain, and heavy showers of rain, looking like there was, in the season for flooding and those kind of things. That's a sign for you to say, let me go ahead and start preparing and get my sandbags and get my basement fill up with water or whatever necessary you have to do, because there was a sign that was set out to say, hey, a storm is coming, it's going to rain. Or when you get up in the morning and you watch your news, watch the weather, and it says it's going to rain, you know you're going to be outside all day. So what do? You prepare for an umbrella, you carry your raincoat, you prepare. So we're talking about the stimulus checks, the stimulus check that's coming out, and they're trying to include this bill with the stimulus that, I think it's up to $14, 1,400 for this one, to help include where the minimum wage can be increased, whether it's $10 or $15, So I want to say to you, prepare, just prepare yourself, especially business owner like myself. I go both ways because I'm a business owner, and then you have where you have to deal with your individual side, where it's going to be an increase for you also. But on the business side, then that's money that is going to, you're going to have to increase and pay for your employees. So for instance, like but one of the pros, when you're thinking about it, it's going to be excited for individuals across the board, because knowing and hearing that the minimum wage is going up, overall is going to help people, to handle the cost of living a little better. I think about New York all the time, and New York, oh my goodness, I think the cost of living is just extremely high. California, and then sometimes, I like to watch these HGTV, and these houses that's being bought, and I'm like, oh my God, these places are really nice in Hawaii. And when I think about the cost for like a little 3 bedroom, house compared to my big old house, and I'm like, that house doesn't even look nothing close to my house, and 300s and 400s and $500,000 just for that house. But then you think about on the other end, they have a high cost of living, but they also have high minimum wages and high wages, and pay scale for the people. So with New York, I know a lot of nurses that worked, and trust me, if I didn't have my last two children, I probably would have been doing traveling nursing. They did a lot of traveling nursing to New York, and they had apartments and things set up there, or live with someone and they work because they pay you well. And they would build their home in Atlanta, or whatever state that they choose to settle down. There's few of them that I know of that done that because of the pay increase that's there. So cost of living, standard of living, I think will be like the number one. Now, will it be extremely um, positively um, effective? May not, because $15, if just say for instance, if it's $15 or um, $10, either way, it's not really that much. But like I said, it does make a difference when you're working in a minimum wage job. Even McDonald's have gone up. Like I think they pay like 8, 10. So the places that are strictly paying just minimum wage, and the people who depend on just that for cost of living, is at the poverty level because they can't house rents, mortgages, and just all sorts of things that pulls on your money pulls on your paycheck, pulls on everything that you own and have. It's really it's mind boggling to me, because oh my God, I can go way back. Because I remember, oh, let me say hello, shout out to my people. I already say, oh, thank you, Patrice. She said Proverbs 27:17. Girl, you are the bomb.com. And hello, good morning, Lisa, another favorite of mine. And Patrice says, I'm gonna bring Patrice. She says they need to raise the minimum based on the cost of living in that particular area. See, that's what I was just talking about with cost of living, because you're gonna just throw this money, this increase. I'm telling you, and that's why I said be prepared, because you may think that, okay, you're tipping the scale in one way for the cost of living, uh, to increase and to help, the poverty situation and the cost of living and all this type of things that we're dealing with in certain states, and I'm sure all states have that, but at the same time, what is it, you do have some pros, and that's what I want to talk about too. So you have some pros for the benefits of the employee getting the increased rate. You do have that, because one of the things I know, when you have, and this is a pro for the business side or the employer. One of the things that I know that you do have for sure is when people are paid well and they have an increase in their income, you have good retention, you have good morale. I'm telling you, because people are excited, they tend to want to work better because they feel like, oh, it's not this old measly job for this old measly money, that but they have to do it. But even within that strain or stretch of their time and effort, you'll find them be a little bit more appreciative. Uh, I'm putting Patrice, she says, we can talk about lowering other life expenses such as car insurance, medical insurance, and education. These things put and keeps a lot of people in debt. Girl, don't remind me about, I'm still running from my student loan. I'm still paying my student loan. And that alone is it's just crazy. And there's so many people out there with the intelligence and the knowledge to be able to share these things, because you have so many people that would, are qualified to help in the education department and still allow people to gain a degree. But you pull these people in with a long line of credentials who require thousands of dollars to partake in this transition for a person who is, you know, um, acquiring higher learning. And yet, the school, of course, has to have the background of, why they stand out and why it costs money for all of that. But at the same time, people who wants to get this education can afford it, unless they're at a certain level where they can get the Pell Grant, they can get so a lot of people go into student loan, and then you find that, and then on top of that, it affects your credit, because the more money you have in loan, if you're looking for certain things in life as far as credit wise, that also affects your credit too. So they need to raise the minimum based on the cost of living. Oh yeah, we said that already. So, those are some of the things that, as far as for the benefit goes, because with the benefits for the cost of living, I mean, yeah, in the cost of living, it increases the minimum wage increases. It allows you to, be able to pay for things, buy things, have a little better life. It really does affect the poverty level in the States. And I pray and trust, if whatever they decide to do, whether it's 10 or 15 or in between, whatever the decision comes out to be, because there should be, and I think it's going to change, the people, we have to be responsible. We have to be mindful of what we're doing with our money. How are we, being efficient in our raises, in our purchasing, in just general what you do. Because once you start getting these raises, and you still want to keep up your morals, we still want to keep up your values in life. Okay, so you've been praying and praying, God increase my pay, God allow me to take me to another status. So you don't want to become a problematic employee now that you're making more money, because now you feel like you can, just do whatever you want to do. But the whole goal is to appreciate the increase and allow yourself to expand to a higher horizon in life by doing it wisely. Now, if you want that house you've been trying to get, you want to help clean up your credit, now you have an extra income coming in, additional or increase on your paycheck. Start figuring out, because although it's been a stretch for the people who are making minimum wage, I just can't even fathom making minimum wage right now. Because even my business employees, I pay them $10 or $15 according to what work they're gonna be doing. So I never even pay minimum wage. And so for me, I don't even really know the exact minimum wage. I think is to have the labor thing. So I've always paid above that, because what are you gonna do with $7.25 or $7.45? What, even $8? You know, so and then sometimes I just do one just ransom payment, because it's hard when people come to work for you. Yeah, they have to. They're doing it because they need the money, but at the same time, you know, if you can give a little more, give a little more, because I was there. I remember when minimum wage for me was what, when I started off in Texas out of high school. Oh my God, I think I was making four something an hour. And gradually I increased and increased from there. And I I was like, when I look back on what minimum wage was at the time, I'm like, oh my God, how far. So I have been in the category of above minimum wage, um, pretty much my whole entire work life. So, and that's great. But at the same time, we want to make sure the employee, um, the relocation. Some of you, the plus, you're going to be able to relocate. You're going to be able to relocate. You're going to be able to go from one place. Is the increase in benefits. Some of our employees don't have benefits because the little paycheck they got in time, the taxes taken out, and this is taken out, they barely get anything. So the increase in benefits, some of you now will be qualified for certain benefits, certain insurance, and just certain things to help you in this space that's going to take place. You know, the other thing I know that it does is it boosts the economic growth. When once the minimum wage is increased, it does boost that. Typically it increases spending in the consumer. You'll be able to have a way to put your money and your dollars, and be able to curtail yourself when you're doing business, because you have an opportunity now, as a consumer, in spending your money and understanding how to spend your money, because you have a little leeway. And again, that's why I was so careful in saying, we have to, as the individual or the employees, we have to be very careful when you get an increase. I think about the stimulus check that people had gotten last year. And I know for me, because that's just how my husband is, when it comes to us and managing money. And in his eyes, that's not even considered like spending money, because I know a lot of people, and I'm saying people who needed it to, get out of debt or get out of whatever it is, that's good. But I think a lot of times when there's an increase in pay or an increase in a certain amount of money that was just given to us, people tend to, just run out and spend it upon, to me, things that you could have done without. And in a time like this, there's uncertainties when it comes to jobs, and uncertainties in holding on to, certain expenses. So I think we have to be wise, just knowing, where to curtail your spending and what you're spending on, and save, and I teach a class on rock solid foundation, rock solid finances, and we talked about the budget, and a lot of people are not, in line with budgets. They don't do budgets, and they don't think about down the road. And I learned this from my husband. I knew about savings, but I didn't always have that mentality the right way. But my husband, and just being with him and knowing him, how he does, his planning in his mind. He doesn't just think for today. He's always in the realm of 3, 4 months, 6 months, because he thinks about things happen. And when Enron had crashed, my husband was in that situation, but you would never know my husband was out of work for a whole year because he lived the same way. I mean, you couldn't tell because he was always wise in that. So, I'm just employing and encouraging you to be wise with your money, even when you have tight situation or you're in a tight spot, because don't just run out and oh no, my pay's increased. Let me just subscribe to this, subscribe to that, buy this, right? Be wise in what you do, because that's going to be very important, and especially in the workers with the poverty status, or those who are trying to get to another level. So you have to focus on, and that's why I talk about planning, and Habakkuk talk about sit down, write the vision, the planning stage. And Patrice, if you can find that one, I think it's Habakkuk 2:2. Just check for me for. But the vision. So it's not just about the pros and the cons. So the pros is if you are getting the increase, then there's like, okay, what is the plan for me? What's the phase or the next step I want to get to? Where do I want to go? Even if it's $2 increase that you have, you I mean, my little children, I give them allowance. And believe me, they don't even understand the major value of a dime or a dollar. They just know, I got me a dollar, I got me a dollar. And I'm looking at them like, really? Well, they already have a plan for the dollar. You're real like, I'm gonna buy you this, mommy. I'm thinking if only she knew what a dollar can do and what a dollar can't do. you know, it's just the amazing thing about that. So let me see what Patrice says here. So I have people work better when they're working. Okay, they need to raise. We got that one. See, I don't do well talking and doing all this together, right? See how bad I am with this. People work better when they are working towards a goal. Increase wages, promotion, and I agree, appreciation helps with retention. It really does. I'm telling you, because you find, for me, when people are working for me and they're consistent, and and they show the interest of what they're doing. I like to give people more, and I think when you do that too, it's in return. They feel good. They feel like, man, I like doing things for Minister Dawn. Even when people like my hairdresser that does my daughter's hair or mine, I don't just whatever she charged. I always gift more. Again, because I remember when my first job in America, it was working at Sonic, and those people used to tip me, and just the tip show that people appreciate the service. And so I always believe in tipping. I always believe in, tipping. And that also encourage people to be better at what they do. So yes, let's see. Too many people are one paycheck or doctor's visit away from being homeless. That is absolutely true. That is so true. And that's why I said I'm 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 passionate in really stressing the fact that we need to prepare, plan and prepare, because you already know that some of us have, and I've been there, I would say Sally and Sue. I used to rob Sally to pay Sue, most people know it as rob pieces of paper. Been there, done that, chasing the clouds, writing the checks and floating them in the air and hoping they don't hit the bank before you get been there. And the luxury of having an opportunity now in life to say, hey, I know what that has done. So these are the steps that you can take to help you. I had a plan, although that was my situation. Trust me, I had a plan. I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to get into another position. I wanted to be this. I wanted, because I had a plan, because that was not going to be my portion. So have a plan. Let me see from, yeah, Habakkuk 2. Yeah, Habakkuk 2 verse 2. It says, sit down, write the vision down, and beginning to write the vision is what God is showing you that you need to do. And it's not just about the vision about opening a business, and if that is, that's fine, or a vision about this, but vision, writing down the plan for everything that's going to help you or propel you forward. So we got to be mindful of this pandemic. Take opportunities out of it to get you to a level to be successful. Whether or not they say they're going to pay me $10 more or $15 more, have a side bank or position or an area where you can, okay, I was putting $5, now I can put $10, So when things happen, you're not like double stressing over it because it just shot you to the core. We're already on the brink of poverty line. So you want to be able to say, let me, focus on what can I do with this income? What can I do with this income? Financial literacy is still needed within the increase. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, you don't want to just run out and buy you a big old TV, okay, you were, I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember Walmart had some TV that there was. I think it was just before the we call that the Thanksgiving. They call it Black Friday or whatever. Nowadays, that doesn't even work because they start selling like way before Thanksgiving, things like that. And I remember one of my girlfriends, she said, Walmart have these big old 55-inch TV for like one something. You can go ahead and put it in now. And that was good. And I was like, oh yeah, I can do this and that. And I was telling Leroy, I said, Leroy, they have such and such as one so and so. And he said, where are you gonna put it? And I said, well, I really don't want that big old TV in my bedroom, right? I have a big TV in there already, but I don't want no big, huge TV. And I got to thinking, I said, where am I gonna put that? And nothing's wrong with my TV, although my kids laugh at me because they're like, Mom, the older ones, not they just could not believe my TVs were the one downstairs. I don't even think it's a smart TV from when it has some kind of smartness from that TV is over 10 years. I want to say because mine was almost 8. It was before he was born. I had that TV. It's a big screen. It's not the bulky big old one, but it it has the Netflix that had come with it and something else. But other than that, it doesn't have all the other new updates. But guess what? That TV looks good. It works. It looks like a smart TV. It's smart enough. And I'm saying to myself, it's nothing wrong with that TV. Even me, I would not just go or just to buy a new TV. My mom always said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But why you need to buy a new one? So unless it's gifted to me, praise the Lord, I take it. But I'm saying this to say sometimes, we find that, when we get an increase, people just go spending and just purchase stuff that's just not necessary. You already had a bed. Why buy a new bed? You already had a dresser. What's the purpose? And I think these are the things that we have to be conscious about to help keep us in line in where we're going forward. Think about your future. What is it that you're trying to do that's more important than getting another bed that you don't need? I could understand if you got the bed and it's not working for you, it's way past, it's old, and it's giving you back problems. I could understand. But, we have to be financially mindful of what we're doing and what we plan to do. So we have, let me see. this pandemic taught, let me bring this up. This pandemic taught a lot of us how to be more prepared financially. And that is so true because you can't say there's no excuses. It is, I'm talking a little bit about financial planning here. That's not even really what I came on here for. So more or less than you saying, oh, I didn't have no information about this. It's all over the internet. I'm mostly everybody who's teaching about financial planning pretty much know what they're talking about. So and then you have the books, you have you can go pull it up, you can go to the library, anything. But what do you do with the money, the increase that you're getting? So like I said, if you want better health care, work toward that. If you want a move out of a heinous neighborhood, drastically crime field. You're raising your children, you're dodging bullets every time you try to come home. Just they ripping off your things. I could understand, relocating yourself. Those are things I think you need to think of: safety, health wise, financial stability. Bring yourself into that, and you're not gonna do it by spending all your money on material things that you don't need. You know, 100. I'm telling you, I have a lot of shoes, and trust me, you'll find I live in one or two shoes. That's my favorite. So you would think I don't have, and that's where I'm getting to a point where I don't want to buy no more shoes. I want to just give them away because even before the pandemic, I have my favorite shoes I like to wear all the time. So how many shoes can we really wear at the same time? So all those are things. And then, doing storms, you find all your money that you just put into things just go down the drain. And guess what? The life of a child who is committing suicide, who is threatening to jump, or the person who is being neglected, a child that's being neglected because we don't have time to spend with our children. All those things are important. Or, paying to send your child to get some therapy, that needs help, or even for yourself, taking care of yourself health wise. And, those are my aim and my focus. And that's what I want to teach and tell people about, because I think the stability of you having a healthy mind and a healthy body goes way farther than a person who's just trying to obtain material wealth, you know. And that's why this increase, and the Republicans say $10 because, they're going to be affected. And the issue with the cons and the pros when it comes to the side of the business people, the disadvantages, when you increase the minimum wage, it's, business, the prices, the fuel, there's you, inflation, you know, inflation, things are going to, what's going, because they're forced now to go up on prices, because they have to pull now out of, what they were substantially um, comfortable in paying to balance out. So now you're going to find it's like that lever, it's when it's down, it's one up. When it's one up, one down. The opportunities are going to argue, because here you have to increase in the area you don't want to, but because you're having to put out more. So how are you going to cover this? It's the same thing. Okay, you have a house and you have someone in there. You're paying for all these expenses, and you have to pay the people to take care of it. So the rent is still the same that the person is renting it for, but you yet is coming out of pocket more for the employees or the contractors to handle any issues or take care of this house. So yes, you find that house rents are going to go up. Yes. And that's the problem. We have inflation is going to go up, cost of living is going to rise, but you still, to me, going to create a problem, because increased prices, it generally, it's going to increase the minimum wage. It's generally going to increase the cost of living because it's it's a negative advantage to me. You gain one, you lose one. More dollars come in your pocket, more dollars come out of this pocket. So that's one of the cons. And the employers are going to feel it. They're going to feel it because they, although I'm paying more for this service, I'm going to have less of the contracts to come in because people are going to start cutting down on certain things that they used to do because the prices now are going up, or because the cost of it is going to be more. So, like for instance, I do weddings and different events and things like that. So you find people are gonna start going to, like, maybe what you call just as a piece, or just doing the backyard wedding, which is nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, as a business owner, if that's what I'm doing, then my contracts are gonna diminish. People are gonna, find less of using a certified planner, or and those kind of things. So that's going to lower my income as far as um, money coming in to pay my employees. So you see how that's working. So there's the cons that goes with that too. Let me see what everyone is saying about that. What are your thoughts on this? Okay, I didn't see anyone else answer. Talk about loan life experience such as. Okay, so no one. Yeah. So so those are some of the things that's going to have a cost of living is going to increase inflation. Those are big things that I see that's going to impact. What we are going to face. You know, just bottom line, the increased minimum wage. It may be just overqualified for workers that taking a minimum wage position, and they would ordinarily go to younger people. You understand? So you have to deal with that. The inexperienced worker now that's going to be getting $15 an hour, and you're okay. So what is going to happen to the people who are making $25 an hour, 15 $30 an hour? So when you see the increase in the minimum wages coming up, so it's almost like your rate devalues, because your rate is not going up, which is still going to be a big effect on the employees, the employers. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that. And the bottom line, like I say, is raising when you raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, as some goals for I think it's the Democrats, and if $10 is what um, the Republicans are looking for, it's expected. So you got to be prepared. You got to be mindful of what's going to be your wage. You got to be mindful. It's opportunity to bring people out of poverty. You have to be mindful. It's going to increase. It's going to, and I pray that it does. It improve the work ethics because they're making more money. They feel more important. They don't feel so like, oh, you know, this job is just worthless, because you barely pay me anything. The other thing, it comes with benefits. You have the opportunity to engage in benefits like 401, 401k, just different things. And the possibility of you receiving the increase, which is on the negative aspect, is the negative implication is the cost of living increase, the inflation, and loss of jobs. That's a big one. Some people may not just be able to pay you $15 anymore, or not anymore, or for the new deal. Some people may not be able to go up in $10 according to what type of job setting, or job skills. And so people may lose jobs. You would think, okay, yeah, the increase is going to bring, so it puts you back in a category for more um, poverty status to increase, because when you don't have jobs, people tend to those people who are wise and save money, and then they can't find a job, then they start using up their savings, going and pulling on all their assets, and then you find that only lasts for so long. So those are the things I wanted to bring, as topics for us to talk about and to be mindful of, and to prepare yourself financially, because you have to prepare yourself for either or, for the increase and what it can do, and for the increase of what it can take. Because again, some people may say, Lordy, Lordy, they never thought in a million years they're going to lose their job. And that can have such a big effect on your home, on your family life, on your health. And here we go again, right back in a position to where the environment is falling to the depression and, all those different things. So begin to prepare, sit down and prepare and plan and organize your income, organize your increase, organize what you want to do and what you want to save and what you plan to do and so forth. And just be mindful of some of the implication that can affect um, your life, your business, your home, your finances with the increase of the wages. So that's what I have for you guys today. I think you guys have really been, let me see, I haven't heard anything else from, I think you guys have been really great listening in. So I trust that you enjoy what was discussed. And again, everything that you want to double check and you want to look at, you go to www.whitehouse.gov. You can pull that up. You can get some really good information. And if you have like a CPA, financial advisor, you have politicians that deals with the government, you can look up all those things and you can discuss those things. You can talk to someone about plans of moving forward with your financial status and things like that. And those who want to relocate, you can start thinking about places, areas, locations, speak with a realtor and get some ideas. Let me tell you, there's things like NACA. NACA is there to help first buyers. You can look into those things where the income interest is very low. There's certain things that they will just tell you to do, even with the income you have. So you're not having to struggle to pay rent. You can find houses that are $40,000, $50,000. They just want you to make sure you're consistent with your bills, and they teach you how to get your credit on track. These are great opportunities for people. I couldn't do it because I had already had properties, and it works for people who are first-time buyers, who don't own properties, who don't own any houses. And I tell my children about it. I tell everybody that I know about it, and now I'm telling you about it. Take the opportunity in NACA. If you're at a place or stage where you feel like you can't, purchase a house, I think that is a great opportunity to have workshops all around the states. Pull it up online, NACA, NACA, and see when the workshop is, and it goes into detail on what it's only in Atlanta. Oh, no, it's not only in Atlanta. Pull it up. Pull it up on, they have it in Texas. They have it all over. But just pull it up because they go from places, they do workshops, and it helps you. Lisa, I think Lisa asked me that. Yes, it helps. It helps. What they do, they have these workshops, and they're free. You go to it, and when I tell you, they break it down and tell you, and they have people with testimony. Patrice said, oh yeah, she's answering too. Yeah, so it's all over. It's a very good program, and let me tell you, a lot of people don't know about it, because I was like, when I learned about it, I I had already been in Atlanta for a long time, and I said, man, I wish I knew this in my teenage life, because I got married young at 20. I wish I knew it at that time, and knew how to, because it took a little while for me to get to where I wanted to be. So that's why I just throw it out there to young people, especially because I think nowadays, when I was growing up, I thought the people who own houses were people like my mom's age. Now, please, people are graduating in the early 20s from college, and living in apartments. I don't even recommend that. If you can get you a house, because you can always buy you another house later on. But if you can get your house, stop putting all that money into apartments, go ahead, keep your credit clean. Go ahead, and if you can pay for an apartment $1,200, $1,300 a month, I believe you can buy your own house. But you just need to focus on working on your credit. I have my son that lives, what's the name of that city? I can't even remember it. But just one bedroom, $1,300. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not giving that kind of money for an apartment. That money needs to go towards my house where I can build equity. I can build investment into my house when I don't want that. I can either sell it or put it up for rent. You have to think about those things when you're moving forward financially. You got to think about, you have to prepare. You have to prepare. You don't just fall out the sky. You got to figure out what you want in life, where you're going, and what is your plan. And it's okay if you want to stay in an apartment for a little while and then, but to have a plan for later. So that's my work. My work is done today. I hope you enjoyed, and look up NACA. And if anybody else know of any other financial aspect or places that can help people, I think it should be said. It really should be. It's an investment. Then you can rent the apartment and sublease if allowed, or Airbnb, especially if you have a business. And that's when I tell you that business is flourishing, that Airbnb, people are using it. The only thing we talk about with that is just, to be very careful. I don't recommend, if you have another house, several houses, you want to do that, I think that's perfect. But there are a lot of people that use their own house to use an Airbnb for a room or something. For me, I don't recommend it, but to each his own, because if they're in another house, they don't have to intermingle with my house, or just different things like that, because you're putting your house in a position to be public. And you know um, there God loves everybody, but there are people out there that have a different twist mind than yours, and I rather keep my little twist mind to myself. So valuable content. No, do appreciate you sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all, and I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you guys next week. I haven't been receiving any topics from you guys. Send me some topics here so I got a couple of people send me topics. So whatever I get, and I want to talk about. So what's going on in your neighborhood? What's going on in your world? What do you know that you like for us to talk about? Just send me some inbox and let me know what you want us to talk about next week, and you may see it. Right? All right. God bless. Have a good day. I love you. Credit repair. So that's a good one. We can talk about that, Patrice. Credit repair. Yes. And see, I got one in the bucket. I'm doing that bucket. I'm pouring them in there, and we're trying to pull out, and we talk about that. And I want to talk about loss and grieving and loss too. That's another one. Oh my God, that is such a deep topic. So I want us to talk about that too one day. So send me some more and see what we can talk about. Okay? I know I said bye already. So I love y'all. Mwah. Happy harvest. Enjoy your day. Bye bye.